Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm gonna cover on this video the reason or the reasons behind this buy um, buy idea that I shared on TradingView on my TradingView account. I shared this on 5 days ago. It took it took some time, but it ended up respecting my bias. Anyways, I'll explain here the reason behind it, and let me start from the daily as usual, because on the daily we have very nice liquidity elements that made me think 5 days ago that price was going to go up. I like to use I really like to use support and resistance, but I do not use support and resistance to place entries. I don't use it for entries. I use them to identify where liquidity is. And it's very basic. I don't use fancy stuff, fancy concepts. I just use very common sense on where stop losses are. So if we place this support and resistance, I'm going to draw it here. Okay, we have a support and resistance structure right here. All right. This was a resistance, and if I extend it to the left, it will be a support or it will be another resistance um, back in the days. But anyways, we have this. I'm going to extend it here so you can get the whole idea of what I'm talking about. So we have this, right? We have a support. Price reacted off the support and it broke through the support. Now it became a resistance. So it breaks through the resistance. Now it is supposed to act as a support, right? That's basically what the rule explains about support and resistance. A support becomes resistance and resistance becomes support, and that's how it's supposed to work, right? But sometimes it doesn't. So sometimes it does. We never know. What I was trying to identify here are liquidity elements. If we think as a support and resistance trader, support traders were trying to, or they try to accumulate orders around this price, Why? Because it was supposed to be a support and price was supposed to move up from here, all right? That's basically the main idea for support and resistance traders. So all I knew was, okay, if they're placing buy positions, if they're placing buy orders from here, that means that their stop loss is very visible, right? It's like an X-ray thing. If we can use volume tools here, I'm pretty sure there might be tons of orders here of stop losses, all right, and also stop orders. Why? Because if they think this is going to act as a support, they will place their stop losses here. But if this support does not hold, then what happens? Breakout traders, which which is another type of trading that is um, super used, still used, um, breakout strategies. Breakout traders will place their entries as well. Why? Because the support did not hold. So what do? They start adding short positions. Okay. And now what happens? Their stop losses are up here. And that's how they build up liquidity. That's the way I understand it. That's the way I've been using it. And that's the way that, in my personal opinion, is the easiest way to find stop losses and is the easiest way to identify where market is turning next. All right. So, um, chapter number 1, price will take all the liquidity below the support. Chapter number 2, after done, it will go up and take all the liquidity from breakout traders. Okay, we have different type of traders. We have support and resistance traders that are basically level traders. We have breakout traders too, which is, try to identify where the stop losses are, because these are two of the main trading strategies ideas. We work based off levels, or we try to place entries if support or resistance or any other type of level breaks, then we enter. Okay, with that being said, we already identified where liquidity was at that moment. Now we have like structure elements. Okay, we have like structure elements because we have this higher low, we have this other higher low, this high here was taken out, we have another high here. So this looks to me like a structure. See, maybe it doesn't look as we see on the books, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Maybe it does not look like that, but we have the elements to consider this a bullish structure. So and on top of that, see this candle. Okay, price needed to balance this out here. See, we have a bunch of buy orders, we need sellers. All right, so the market will try to balance this and fill this candle, fill the void. Okay, good. So that's the main idea, right? That's the main idea on the daily time frame. So when I go to the 4-hour time frame, we have this demand level here. That's where price bounced off. Price reacted off this 4-hour demand level. If you are an aggressive trader, you would have placed a buy limit order here and you should be in profit now. I'm not that type of trader. I always look for confirmation. I always look for price action confirmation to place my entries. I'm not saying this is bad. I'm just trying to play a little bit safer, let's say. So my price action confirmation or my price action patterns will always be supply levels being taken out on an uptrend or demand levels being taken out on a downtrend. This is just the 4-hour time frame. This is just a 4-hour view. But when I move down to the 1-hour time frame, I have a trend line. I have this bearish trend line that was removed. See, this is a very textbook setup. And those traders that trade supply and demand, I'm pretty sure we are all familiar with this type of setup. A level of, well, in this case, a demand level here was created, and this level removed or broke this bearish trend line, but it also consumed or removed this area of supply, which is what the price is doing just now. All right, this is a very basic, or well, it's one of the most common price action patterns that we use as supply and demand traders. We just wait for an opposing zone to be removed or taken out and see if we can also adapt trend lines to it. And if that happens, then we have a higher probability setup. So this is basically my entry. This is basically the idea behind it. And if you haven't watched my previous videos, I explained that I like to trade. I always trade with the trend. I'm a trend trader. I don't take counter setups. They will work, of course, but I just don't take them. And I try to avoid major events. I always trade after major events. So this is basically the idea behind. From the daily time frame, we had liquidity below the support. Now they built liquidity above the resistance, and that's where they are going next. Why? Because we have a lot of breakout traders there, And I'm pretty sure they might be waiting as well for this resistance to, you know, to break. They are waiting for the price to break through it so they can place their buy stops. And that's why we might see some sort of movement like this, maybe another retracement, consolidation, and then boom. They will decide where they are going next, because it would all depends on liquidity. If liquidity is still resting below, so they will go down. Simple as that. If they consider there's like a lot of orders up here, so they will go up. But we will try to adapt. For now, this was the idea 5 days ago, on why price first made this strong movement to the downside, and now it's going up. I'm out of the trade. I'm good with my entry. I'm good with my position. I'm all good. Now I will wait for another signal, and if I see it, I'll share it here. So that's basically the main idea. That's basically the idea behind dollar cat. If you like this type of videos explaining all the reasons behind the trade, just subscribe to this channel and follow me on X and TradingView so you can review all my setups. But yeah, that was basically it. Bullish trend, the 4-hour time frame, buyers continue to show clear control of the market, of course, and with the downside liquidity already taken, which is what I was explaining, everything below the support, the next logical liquidity target sits above the daily support and resistance level. So trade close, target reached. And I just forgot to change this to from neutral to long. I just forgot, but anyways, that was the idea. That was the idea. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.